Hi, this is Marie, your Marker Pop colorist, and I want to share with you a card that I created today using an ink transfer technique. I learned this from my friend Patricia St. Martin, and it involves transferring 3 different colors of ink from the ink pad from masking tape to your cardstock. It'll also involve using a chunky stamp as opposed to a line stamp. So I hope you will give this a try, and I'm going to get on with my tutorial. Okay. So my ink will be old paper, dusty concord, and bundled sage. I'm also going to be sponging my edges with vintage photo. I'm using Express It paper. It's nice and smooth, easy to manage, and easy to sponge. So I'm using a very wide piece of masking tape, and I'm going to take my bundled sage. It's a very pretty green. I really love this color. And I'm going to place it on top of my ink pad and just rub my fingers over it and get a nice inky exchange here going. And we're going to transfer that directly onto your cardstock. Rub it lightly, and as you lift that off, you have some transfer of your ink. It'll never be the same twice, but it forms a beautiful background. Now we're going to take our dusty concord, and one way to make it not quite so sticky is if you apply it to your hand first. It picks up the oil and it'll come off your paper easier. Little tip there. And we're applying this right next to it, rubbing it gently and peeling that off. Then we will do the same with our third piece of masking tape. We're going to do old paper. This one doesn't show up really super well on video, but in person it's very pretty. So you have your basically your 3 background colors applied. Now we're going to take the chunky stamp, and again, make sure that you do not use a line stamp. I'm using paper Smooches Botanical 2 for this. It's a nice chunky stamp, and will give you some good coverage. I'm stamping this with my vintage photo as well. Thought the brown of it would, the vintage brown color would lend itself for the autumn theme. And I'm going to stamp it 3 different times, putting it in different angles, giving it more of a natural look. Stamp it one more time and kind of mask the bottom with some scratch paper so that it looks like it belongs there and doesn't get too far down on the bottom of my paper. So now I'm going to take some more of that vintage photo and just very lightly, ever so lightly, sponge my edges. Now when I do my sponging, I like to work on a mat and start off of the paper and gently sponge over onto the paper. Otherwise, I have a tendency to get big round globs of ink on my paper, and so this is one technique that allows me to have a smoother blend. Just sponging off and directly right over onto my paper. I know this is a technique that's helped me a lot avoid just getting a dark glob of ink right on the middle of my image. It's a smoother blend that way for me. Okay, now here's my image. And I'm going to mat this on some of my green basil cardstock. Using my double adhesive tape. There, putting it on. And this is such an easy technique. I hope that you will give this a try. It looks so different depending upon the colors you use in the background or the chunky stamp that you choose to use. I'm going to back mine with Bo Bunny for my designer paper. I've cut that out, and I'm going to use the basil gumdrop for my mat. The colors seem to coordinate nicely with the ink from the Tim Holtz, and we will adhere those together. And then my focal image on top, and then I will be putting some baker twine around the bottom. So I always like to get a lot of tape at the very edges of my cardstock, my layer, or my designer paper, so that I get a good seal and the corners don't pull up. And popping it up for dimension with some pop dots. I love pop dots. I should have some stock in this company, I guess. And we're going to then adhere this to the card. Position your baker twine. I like to spread mine out a little bit, but you are the creator of your card, so however you like to do that. And then we'll pop it up, and it gave it a nice dimension. And then I'm going to take some stickles, and I'm using diamond in this case. And I'm going to just accent some of the chunky stamp here and there with stickles to allow it to reflect the light a little more. I'm someone that usually likes less stickles or glitter than more. I think less is more. Because again, you want the attention to go toward your image, your focal image, and you want the stickles to draw your eye toward it, but not to overwhelm you. I did use the diamond because I thought this looked so pretty against the brown ink. This technique, it's so easy to do, and I just really appreciated learning this technique from Patricia. I had a design team card due, and I was like really right at the last minute, and I thought, what am I going to do? And so Pat said, try this technique, and I have just been addicted to this technique ever since. You could probably use Wink of Stella here as well. It would give a nice shine and accent, draw your eye to that chunky stamp. because even though you did work on your background, you still want your eye to mostly go to your stamp. That is your focal image, and the other kind of recedes into the background. There you go. And I hope you like this. I hope you give it a try. Thank you for watching. Details will be on our Marker Pop blog and on my blog, and the links for my supplies that I used. Thank you for watching. If you see it on YouTube, I hope that you will like, you will share, and that you will subscribe. Thank you so much.